So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through as if I was a student going through Transformation Week, and I'm gonna role model for you 3 more of the world's most advanced accelerated learning frameworks. So let's say an example. Let's go ahead and imagine that I was trying to improve my forehand, and I specifically identified that on my backswing, I need to achieve more horizontal shoulder abduction. So basically my mistake is when I'm executing my backswing, my racket sets to about here, versus what the best players in the world do is, in the biomechanically optimal, is they get their arm set at about 6 o'clock. So the first accelerated learning principle that we're gonna tap into is what's known as time slicing. Now, what the world's greatest celloists, violin players, and pianists execute when they're learning a new musical piece is, question, do you think when they start their practice sessions that they do the piece very fast or that they do the piece very slow? And of course, the answer is that when you're learning something new, it's so much more effective to execute the technique in a very slow, controlled, fluid manner, where you're just making sure that you're implementing the right technical checkpoints. So this concept known as time slicing allows you to ensure that you are firing the correct myelination or neurological pathways associated with world-class technique. Now, an even added benefit of time slicing is it allows you to really gain even more clear, immediate corrective feedback, as you might remember from the previous accelerated learning video. So essentially what that would look like for me is to be like, okay, got it. So I need to make sure that I'm implementing a 6 o'clock backswing. So time slicing will look like this. Let's go and do my split. Let's get my unit turn dialed in, and then let's do my fluid backswing. Got it. So this is what it's gonna feel like. This kind of feels weird. This feels a little bit unnatural. And that's the key of accelerated learning, is it should feel kind of weird and unnatural. And now I'm taking it a step further. As I'm doing this time slicing, then even better, I'm visualizing myself in a match. So I'm like, okay, I'm in my next match. I'm generating and visualizing world-class technique. I'm imagining, yes, I'm gonna do that perfect backswing. And then I'm right there. Got it. So this is what's gonna feel like. This is what it's gonna feel like. And then once you can fire that correctly, then you would implement it in a faster time slice. So then you go split, got it, split, and then you would ramp up the desirable difficulty, you'd increase the pace, you'd execute, boom, 6 o'clock, accelerate through. Wow, now I'm really starting to feel confident. Wow, now I'm really starting to progress. And even better, I know with confidence, because I time sliced, I'm executing the optimal technique. The second principle of accelerated learning that is so powerful is what's known as isolation. See, the human brain has this really smart part of the brain. It's called the prefrontal cortex, which I'm sure you're aware of. Now, what they found in psychological research is that the prefrontal cortex can really only effectively isolate and focus on one distinct element at a time, which in this case would be one distinct anatomical motion or one phase of the shot. So for example, if I was trying to develop my backswing to be way more effective and achieve that 6 o'clock, rather than playing a match, having to factor in my split, my unit turn, my positioning to the ball, my acceleration, everything, I would rather say, okay, that's a lot of stuff to master. I'm just gonna isolate my focus on the backswing. I'm gonna isolate and narrow down what I want to improve into that one distinct element. And see what's so powerful about that is whether you're in the serve transformation system mastering the literally 100 distinct anatomical checkpoints that we've broken down, or you're mastering your forehand, your slice, whatever it is, by simply just isolating and focusing on one key element at a time and mastering that, by just staying persistent with that, boom, a week or a month goes by, you're a weapon. You've got world-class technique. So that is the power of having these systems and of isolating your focus one piece at a time. Because by just going through, by being persistent and consistent, you get the breakthrough. So isolation would look like this. Rather than doing all that complexity, I would just start from my unit turn and I would just isolate the backswing. I would just isolate the backswing. I would just isolate the backswing. And embedded within that further, we can then add time slicing variation, where we're gonna do smooth and slow, and then fast and quick. And then what that's doing is it's actually tapping into another accelerated learning principle called interleaving. Interleaving basically means that you are shifting, you're changing, you're switching the context, you're going to different locations in your mind. And what they found, very interestingly, is that in scientific research, they had one group study a topic in one room, and then study the same topic in a room with a different environment, or like different poster on the wall, different temperature, etc. And just by doing that one thing, they found that the group that had a different environment, a different context that interleaved the environment, actually had higher retention and higher performance. This is because it kind of mixes up your brain. It forces your brain to have more generation, to have more desirable difficulty, to have more focus and attention. So that's an added bonus accelerated learning tip. Now, the third and final accelerated learning principle is we've covered time slicing, we've covered isolation. The last element would be known as what's exaggeration, the exaggeration principle, where essentially here's what this means. Let's say, for example, that in your mind, you've been doing for years a backswing where the arm is in too short of a position, or it's too far back. What will actually be the correct technique is in your mind, an exaggerated version of the correct technique. Here's what I mean. When you feel, let's say your backswing was too short, when you're now doing your new backswing technique, you want to exaggerate, you want to feel that it's going too far back. Because what's actually going to happen, it's going to freak you out if you do this, I guarantee. When you feel you're going too far back, because you're so used to being here, you're actually going to be right here. Another way of thinking about it is like the weight scale, right? If you have a weight going down on this side, and your goal is to balance it like this, you actually want to add a weight that you think is going to go like this. And then what's going to happen is this thing going to be perfectly balanced. So whenever you're learning something new, especially something that you might have some bad habits around, you want to exaggerate the feeling of what that's like. So if we're on the serve, for example, your racket is too externally rotated by the time you initiate your leg drive, you would then want to feel that your racket is too much internally rotated. And what's going to happen is it's probably going to be right there in that perfect spot for that world-class technique. All right, world-class athlete, we have covered some amazing accelerated learning principles in this video. I hope you're feeling motivated. I hope you're feeling inspired. And I hope you're feeling fired up to get out in the court and have success, to break through with all of your shots and experience what it's like to play at a world-class level. All right, get out there, think big. I'm so blessed and honored to be your coach on this journey of success and growth together, and I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.